We're getting very close to the May the 4th promotions from LEGO.com. That means it's time for us to start getting very familiar with all the Star Wars sets retiring this year to see what sets we might be interested in investing in. I've done a deep dive analysis of all the Star Wars sets currently projected to retire by the BrickTap and BrickFanatics retirement lists. It's taken me many hours to research and plan this video, so if you enjoyed the deep dive analysis that I share here, I'd really appreciate it if you could drop a like below. I'll also note that we're only 4 months into the year, so my thoughts on many of these sets for investing will change as we see how the situation around them changes for investing, or of course if their retirement date is pushed out. Let's waste no time and get started with my least favorite LEGO Star Wars set for investing this year, and that is the Crimson Firehawk set number 75384, MSRP of $49.99, released in January of 2024, so it'll have a 2-year shelf life. I'll quickly get this set out of the way. It is by far the worst Star Wars set retiring. It's been deeply discounted many times online and in stores. You can see on Keepa, even Amazon has had it as low as 60% off. The demand numbers are absolutely terrible, only selling 200 units a month, even though it's half off. And because of how commonly it's been discounted, the supply is through the roof with 141 sellers at the moment. While the minifigure value on Bricklink is currently $27.79, that is not going to save this set. That value is going to continue to drop as more supply becomes available and demand remains stagnant. This is just like last year's Tano Jedi Temple, clearanced early in the year with many people making arguments to buy because of the minifigure value, but right now it's still selling for 30% under MSRP. I expect the same outcome for this set, and I wouldn't be interested in buying unless it was 85% off. Even then, I'd only be buying it reluctantly. At number 24, I have the TIE Fighter and X-Wing mashup, set number 75393, MSRP of $109.99, released in August of 2024, so it'll have a 1 year and 5 month shelf life. Right now, the numbers for this set on Amazon aren't too bad in my opinion. It sold 7,000 units over Q4 and wasn't discounted at all. At 20% off, I could easily have seen it 10,000 plus. It has 5 minifigures and 4 of them have parts unique to this set. Their current total value on Bricklink is $55.60, not bad at all. I'm down on this set because I anticipate it will see significant sales throughout the rest of this year. Surprisingly, so far there haven't really even been sales for 20% off from online retailers. But I believe this won't continue and the metrics for the set will fall considerably. If not though, and this set quietly exits at the end of 2025 with no sales, this set could be a huge sleeper. This is why I don't buy widely available sets for investing until later in the year, once we know more about its situation for investing. If it's October and the situation around the set hasn't changed, I may be interested in it at 45% off, but for now, I'm going to sit back and watch. Next is the Moss Espa Podrace Diorama, set number 75380, MSRP of $79.99, released in May of 2024, so it'll have a 1 year and 8 month shelf life. It looks like this will be the last Star Wars diorama, at least for now. Unfortunately, the first 3 dioramas that retired at the end of 2023 saw a year's worth of lingering inventory from retailers, which stunted their growth in retirement for too long before investors became impatient and started to dump their inventory. The 2 that retired this year look to be set up for a similar path, with them both being still in stock from Walmart. But if they go out of stock soon, I believe they will perform fine, since there's much less supply out there of those sets compared to the first wave. Now we're in 2025 with a lone diorama and probably no continued collectability in the future, and every investor is down on it. If we hadn't already seen significant sales on it from Amazon and in store from Walmart, I probably wouldn't be that down on the set, but it looks like LEGO has already oversupplied it, and I can imagine we'll see even more deeper sales later in the year. Unfortunately, the Keepa demand chart for the set looks to be broken, so I can't reference the demand over time, but currently it's selling 1,000 units a month at 26% off, which isn't bad. But if you look at the price history chart, you can see it was recently nearly 40% off at $48.99, which is the reason it's at the 1,000 units sold per month mark. Before that deal, the demand number was definitely much lower. This is a set where all signs are pointing negative. If it continues down this path, it's likely a set I wouldn't consider investing in unless it's 65% off near the end of the year. At 22, I have the BARC Speeder Escape, set number 75378, MSRP of $29.99, released in May of 2024, so it'll have a 1 year and 8 month shelf life. There's really nothing to write home about this set. It has mid-supply and demand numbers. The minifigures are nothing special except for a unique Kylo Ren Beck. Their total value on Bricklink is currently $18.09, which is a good percentage of the value of the set. That alone isn't enough to carry the set for investing, and I expect it will be decently heavily discounted as the year goes on with mediocre demand. Not considering it unless it's late in the year and it's at least 60% off. Next is Ahsoka's T6 Jedi Shuttle, set number 75362, MSRP of $79.99, released in September of 2023, so it'll have a 2-year and 5-month shelf life. This set has seen a ton of significant discounts in-store and online, flooding aftermarkets with supply. On Amazon, there are 112 sellers, with many of them under MSRP. Looking at the price chart on Keepa, you can see it's a mess with third-party sellers constantly trying to undercut Amazon to sell their inventory. When you look at the demand chart, at face value, it looks amazing that it sold 20k over Q4, but it wasn't really because the set is insanely popular. If we zoom in on the pricing chart, it's actually because Amazon put it on sale for $42.99, then $45, so seeing the high demand over Q4 wasn't actually that special. Unless I see the supply on Amazon really dry up over the next several months, I likely won't be interested in picking the set up unless it was 65% off at the end of the year. At number 20 is the Creative Play Droid Builder, set number 75392, MSRP of $99.99, released in August of 2024, so I have a 1-year and 5-month shelf life. The only two things going for the set is that it's a Target exclusive and it has the exclusive Young Leia minifigure. It being a Target exclusive means there will be less supply available compared to a widely available set. And the Young Leia figure is currently valued at $45.53. Outside of those factors, there's nothing else to write home about. When analyzing the investment potential of a retailer exclusive set, I like to see the demand on Amazon, see how much action the seller chart has, and the largest factor for me is seeing how much above MSRP the lowest price sellers are at. Over the past month, we can see based on the sales rank that it only sold 10 in the past month at about MSRP. There are currently 21 sellers and continuing to rise as we see more sales on the set from Target. And the lowest price sellers are right around MSRP. All three of these metrics are not good for a Target exclusive set. I'll be passing on it unless it's near 65% off near the end of the year. Next is the Onyx Cinder, set number 75374, MSRP of $139.99, released in August of 2024, so it'll also have a 1-year and 5-month shelf life. I could see this set having the upside of the Bad Batch Shuttle or the downside of Ambush on Ferrix. Both are one-off sets from lower profile Star Wars shows. If you're a long-term holder and the second season of the Skeleton Crew gets released, you'll see another good wave of demand for this set, but that second season isn't guaranteed, and this set could be forgotten by most. The 5 exclusive figs are currently valued at $62.06 on Bricklink. The demand numbers are not great. If it starts seeing deep discounts on top of that, I will not be high on the set for investing for sure. I'll be holding off buying it till near the end of the year so that I have a good picture for this set for investing and can make a good informed decision on what I think a good buy price would be considering my investing strategy. Next is Paz Vizsla and Moff Gideon Battle, set number 75386, MSRP of $39.99, released in June of 2024, so I have a 1-year, 7-month shelf life. Very low demand for the set over Q4. At 20% off, it only sold 3,000 units. It also has sold 3K over the past month, but when we look at the price chart, that's because it was recently $25.59. For now, the supply on it is low at 12 sellers, but since it's already seen 36% off this early in the year, I would bet it sees more significant sales and supply starts to increase. The 4 minifigures included have a good value at $24.18 currently, but other than that, the outlook for this set is likely not looking great with low demand and early deep sales. Maybe I'd be interested in it at the end of the year at 60% off. Ahsoka Tano's Duel on Peridea, set number 75385, MSRP of $54.99, released in August of 2024, so it'll have a 1-year and 5-month shelf life. This set is a wild card so far. The demand on it is not great at all, only sold 4K units over Q4 while being 20% off, and it's only selling 400 units a month now at 20% off. But the supply on it is very low, 7 sellers, it also has great figures. All 5 included are unique, and their total value on Bricklink is $46.77. That's an incredible amount of value coming from the minifigures alone. If everything stays as it is through the end of the year, I may be interested picking this set up at 45% off, but if it starts to see a lot of deep discounts because of the low demand, I'll need a larger discount to consider it for investing. At number 16 is the Ambush on Mandalore Battle Packs at number 75373, MSRP of $19.99, released in June of 2024, so I have a 1-year and 7-month shelf life. Pretty weak demand from this set for a battle pack. It sold 10,000 units over Q4 at a 20% discount. To compare that to the 501st battle pack that's still on shelves, it sold 20K this past Q4 at 20% off. Unfortunately, these minifigures just aren't that popular for army builders, but their value on Bricklink is great at $15.18 right now. What could turn this set into a good investment is if there aren't many deep discounts and most people pass on it for investing. Right now, there are only 9 sellers. If that number stays low late into the year, I may be interested in this set at 45% off. At 15, I have the Razor Crest at number 75331, MSRP of $599.99, released in October of 2023, so it'll have a 2-year and 3-month shelf life. We've seen some pretty significant discounts on this set. Amazon alone has had it on sale for around 30% off several times. Because of that, it does make me believe that LEGO has overproduced this set. Hopefully not so much that it lingers in stock after retirement. It is worth noting though that with all of these sales, there are still only 16 sellers on Amazon right now. The biggest factor for me having this set up here on the list is because of the Mandalorian movie being released in the summer of next year. Cultural relevance is a large factor for LEGO investments, and I think this set will see a nice bump in demand from the movie. It's been confirmed that the Razor Crest, or a newer version that looks very similar, will be in the movie. For me to be able to double my money on this set, I will need a solid discount. I'll be looking for opportunities to stack discounts to get it at about 45% off. Tantive IV, set number 75376, MSRP of $79.99, released in March of 2024, so I have a 1 year and 10-month shelf life. I may have this set too high on my list. There have been some very significant discounts on this set, and supply on Amazon is high because of it. The demand chart on Keepa is also broken for this set, so I can't see the demand over time, but currently it's only selling 600 units a month at 20% off. But what I keep coming back to is the continued collectability of these Starship Collection sets. This is one of the first 2 sets to retire in the sub-theme, and there will no doubt be many collectors that start buying these sets in the series in 2026 and need to go back and buy this set. It kind of gives me deja vu of the Star Wars dioramas that retired, but as I mentioned earlier, you have to remember that the first 3 that retired had a year's worth of lingering inventory that has held those sets back from appreciation and price. So as long as this set goes out of stock when it should, I think it has a good chance of being a good investment. I'll be watching this set until late in the year to see how often it goes on sale. If supply drops and it doesn't see more large discounts, I'll probably be interested in it at 50% off. At 13 is the Ghost and Phantom 2, set number 75357, MSRP of $159.99, released in September of 2023, so I have a 2 year and 4-month shelf life. This set was originally slated to retire last year, but was pushed off the retirement list right after May the 4th promos. I doubt that will happen again this year, but you never know. This is an Amazon exclusive. You can see on Keepa that this set rarely goes on sale, and when it does, it's brief or it isn't much of a discount. It's surprising to me that it isn't discounted more because of how low the sales volume is, averaging 200 to 300 units sold a month, when it's not discounted outside of Q4. It has a great lineup of minifigures, 5 of them all unique to this set, valued at $80.56 on Bricklink. I was in on this set last year, not as high on it this year, but if I'm able to get it at 45% off near the end of the year, I'll likely pick it up. I wanted to quickly jump in here and give a quick plug to the Brick Domain Knowledge Dump. If you're interested in a week-long, small group, hands-on LEGO investing session where I go over everything I do as a LEGO investor, starting with how I set my investing strategy, how I research sets, how I stack discounts to buy sets, and how I sell them, this is the place for you. It'll be from April 28th to May 1st, 4 nights, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. CST. If you're interested in registering, the link is in the description below. Alright, we're about halfway through at number 12 with the Coruscant Guard Gunship, set number 75354, MSRP of $139.99, released in September of 2023, so it'll have a 2 year and 4-month shelf life. I feel like people might be holding a grudge against this set because it got extended right after May the 4th last year, but it's still a solid set. It's consistently selling 1,000 units a month at 20% off, with an acceptable 30 sellers. It has 5 minifigures, 3 unique, with a value of $72.27. I really don't have much else to say about it. It has solid numbers all around, and I'll likely be interested in it for investing later in the year at 45% off. Next is the Droideka, set number 75381, MSRP of $64.99, released in May of 2024, so I have a 1 year and 8-month shelf life. Unfortunately, the demand chart isn't available on Keepa for this set either. Would really like to have seen how many it sold over Q4, but right now it's selling 1,000 units at 20% off and only has 18 sellers. What puts this set higher on my list is the continued collectability with all the other buildable droids LEGO's made and is continuing to make. We have R2-D2, Chopper, C-3PO, with a battle droid and K2SO rumored to be coming out later this year. I don't think this will be crazy hyped for investing this year, and I can see many people passing on it. I'll probably be interested in it for investing at 45% off near the end of the year. We're into the top 10 with the X-Wing Starfighter, set number 75355, MSRP of $239.99, released in May of 2023, so it'll have a 2 year and 8-month shelf life. It seems like many investors aren't too excited about this set because it isn't the first UCS X-Wing, but I don't think that matters much. Look at this price chart. It's never been discounted from Amazon. Some third-party sellers have undercut Amazon to get the buy box, but not by much. And when you look at the demand chart, this set is selling just as well as the Ghost and Phantom 2, is widely available, never discounted, and an $80 higher MSRP. It also only has 14 sellers. I think this set is very overlooked for investing. I'm definitely interested in it at 45% off. At number 9 is the Desert Skiff and Sarlacc Pit, set number 75396. MSRP of $79.99, released in August of 2024, so I have a 1 year and 5 month shelf life. I'm surprised to see this set is slated to retire this year, and definitely could see it getting pushed to next year because it's basically an add-on set to the UCS Jabba sail barge that is not retiring this year. This is definitely a set collectors would want to buy in retirements to pair with the UCS set, and buyers who will dish out $500 for a set will likely be fine paying $150 for this one. We've yet to see a discount from it on Amazon or any other online retailers. On Amazon outside of Q4, it's selling 400 to 500 units a month. That's not great, but considering it's at MSRP, it probably would be close to 1,000 units a month if it was 20% off. Because we haven't seen any sales, there are only 16 sellers at the moment. It has 6 figures, 4 are unique, and their total value is currently a nice $49.61, with 21 of it in the exclusive 25th anniversary figure. This set really checks most of my boxes outside of it being a retailer exclusive. If the situation around the set is the same later in the year, I'll be interested in picking it up for 45% off. Number 8 is Boarding the Tantive IV, set number 75387, MSRP of $54.99, released in March of 2024, so I'll have a 1 year and 10 month shelf life. What gets me excited about this set is the demand chart for it. Over Q4, it sold 20,000 units. That's not a mark many sets hit, and when I see sets get to that or 30,000 units at only a 20% discount, that's a great sign for me. Those are $20 battle pack type demand numbers, and there are only 25 sellers currently. It also, of course, has the exclusive 25th anniversary minifigure. There are 7 figures total with a value of $37 and $12 on Bricklink. It feels like this set isn't getting enough attention, and if it stays that way as the year continues, I'll definitely be interested in it at 45% off. The Darth Vader helmet is at number 7, set number 75304, MSRP of $79.99, released in April of 2021, so I have a 4 year and 9 month shelf life. This was one of the first helmets to get released, and it's still putting up solid numbers. The past 2 years at Q4, it sold 10,000 units at no more than a 20% discount, and consistently sells 2 to 3K a month during the rest of the year. Keep in mind that's even with its MSRP being $10 more than all the other Star Wars helmets. Even though it's been on shelves a long time, the supply isn't crazy high. It has 44 sellers. There's still plenty of continued collectability, with LEGO now releasing more helmets in this line that will be on store shelves for years to come. For long-term investors that want to sell in a 3 to 5 year window, I could see this set having a nice steady price appreciation over time. For myself, looking to sell for double my money within a year to a year and a half, I'll likely be looking to buy at 50% off, because of the inflated MSRP. At that price, I'd feel pretty comfortable getting a good quantity of them. Number 6 is the Luke Skywalker X-Wing Mech at number 75390, MSRP of $15.99, released in June of 2024, so I'll have a 1 year and 7 month shelf life. I'm sure many of you know that I was very high on the Star Wars mechs that retired last year, specifically the Stormtrooper and Darth Vader mechs. I'm not nearly as high on Luke as I was on those, but I still like what I see. It's selling 1,000 units a month consistently, and it sold 20K over Q4 at 20% off, and there are currently only 10 sellers. This is also not the last in the sub-theme. It's been confirmed that there will be a Darth Maul mech released later this year. I'm definitely interested in getting a bunch of these at 45% off, as long as the situation around it stays the same. I'm starting off the top 5 with Invisible Hand, set number 75377, MSRP of $49.99, released in March of 2024, so I'll have a 1 year and 10 month shelf life. This is a Target exclusive and the second Starship Collection set to retire at the end of this year. I started off the year very hesitant on this set because of how many discounts we've seen on it already. It was 40% off twice late last year, and it's been 20% off many times. I've wanted to see how the set recovered supply-wise after those sales, and if it gets discounted deeply throughout this year. So far, I've liked what I've seen. This supply graph is exactly what I wanted to see. While there are still a good number of sellers at 61, it's down significantly from its peak. Demand is strong, selling 50 units a month while being search suppressed, which is eating up the supply from people who are flipping the set from when it was on sale at 40% off. It's always important to consider how much supply is limited for Target exclusive sets. Even if the number of sellers is high, many of those sellers only have a handful of sets because they couldn't just order as many as they wanted to get at that deep discount. So when I take a step back and see that supply isn't a concern for me anymore right now, I'm feeling great about the set. Continued collectability and it being one of the first sets in this sub-theme to retire. It's also the cheapest in the line, raising the perceived value of it compared to others that have an $80 MSRP. I'm going to be picking these up at 45% off after stacking discounts. Next is Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator, set number 75383, MSRP of $69.99, released in May of 2024, so I'll have a 1 year and 8 month shelf life. There's been a lot of hype around the Qui-Gon Jinn variant that's gone up a ton in value, but from an investing standpoint, this set is solid. It's a Walmart exclusive, which seems like no one has realized. On Amazon, it's selling 50 units a month, well over MSRP. The lowest offer is priced at $90, and there are only 8 sellers. The minifigure selection is great, including the exclusive Saw Gerrera. The total value is currently $52.44, with Saw valued at $28.46. This set is crazy overlooked by investors, and I'm very high on it for investing this year. We'll be stacking discounts to pick it up at 45% off. At number 3 is Obi-Wan Kenobi vs. Darth Vader, set number 40547. MSRP of $19.99, released in May of 2022, so it'll have a 3-year and 8-month shelf life. This isn't going to be an insane performer like the Lord of the Rings brickheads last year, but you can't deny the power of LEGO exclusivity. It's regularly selling 50 to 100 units a month on Amazon at 40% over MSRP, even while search suppressed. That's exactly what I want to see for a LEGO exclusive. There are a good number of sellers, 54 currently, but because the demand is high, it's keeping the lowest price from dropping closer to MSRP. I'm buying the set at 40% off or more by stacking discounts. At number 2 is Clone Commander Cody, set number 40675, MSRP of $9.99, released in May of 2024, so have a 1-year and 8-month shelf life. This brickhead set doesn't at all have the same demand as Obi-Wan vs. Vader. Since mid last year, it's never had a month on Amazon where it sold 50 units or more. But the key number for me here is that the lowest price seller is at $20, double the MSRP, and there are only 13 sellers. So even though the demand is much lower, it's not oversupplied because the lowest seller is still priced so high. I have this set ranked over the last one because at the $10 price point for a brickhead set, it has an easier odds of seeing $25 in retirement than a $20 set has seeing $50 in retirement. The size of the sets doesn't matter to me, hardly any more work. I sell most things Amazon FBA, so I just label them, throw them in a box to Amazon, and they ship them out for me. I'm also buying the set at 40% off or more by stacking discounts. And my number 1 Star Wars set for investing this year is the Imperial Dropship vs. Rebel Scout Speeder, set number 40755, MSRP of $39.99, released in October of 2024, so it'll only have a 1-year and 3-month shelf life. This set is amazing, it checks all of my boxes, it's a LEGO exclusive, so it has limited supply, but it's also a battle pack that has high demand. It's the perfect combo. The minifigures are great, it has 7 total, 2 of them are truly unique, and also includes the 25th anniversary QTKT valued at $18.02. The total value of all the figures is $41.95, more than the MSRP of the set. The only thing that's unfortunate about this set is that it doesn't have an Amazon listing. Last year, around the time the first round of LEGO regates happened on Amazon, new listings for LEGO sets not sold by Amazon stopped showing up. So it looks like anyone who had the ability to create LEGO listings can't anymore. It's really unfortunate. Hopefully it opens up again, but who knows. So for myself, that leaves me with Walmart and eBay as marketplaces to sell on. Although we don't have a tool as good as Keepa for Walmart, we can see that the buy box price is currently $67 and there are only 4 sellers. And even on eBay, the lowest price is $58 and there are many sold listings. This ensures me that this is a low supply set that has good demand. As with the other LEGO exclusive mentioned, I'm buying the set at 45% off by stacking discounts. Alrighty, that finishes out my ranking of all the LEGO Star Wars sets for investing that are currently projected to retire at the end of this year. If you enjoyed the video and appreciate all the effort that went into making it, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like below and subscribe for more LEGO investing content. I'd also love to hear in the comments below what Star Wars sets you're highest on for investing this year and what sets you disagreed with my take on them. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. As always, my videos are not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm only sharing my journey as a LEGO investor, and I encourage you to do your own research before buying any LEGO sets.